But a picture paints 1,000 words. And so, brothers and sisters, we invite you tonight to paint a picture with us. And we're going to go back thousands of years to a very, very significant event in the Jewish people's history. Stretching from India to Kush. At that time, King Xerxes reigned from his royal throne at the citadel of Susa. And in the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his nobles and officials.
For a full 180 days, which is about 6 months in the calendar of the year, I have thrown a party for all the ministers and for all the officials of my kingdom. And now, after all these many days, we're going to throw a party in the garden of my palace for all the people, from the least to the greatest, who are in Susi. I will drink, young man. Yes.
Now, Queen Vashti also gave a banquet for the women in the royal palace of King Xerxes. And on the 7th day, when King Xerxes was in high spirits from wine, he commanded the 7 eunuchs who served him.
Bring before me my Queen Vashti, wearing her royal crown, so that I can show everybody her beautiful beauty. Yes.
But when the attendants delivered the king's command, Queen Vashti said,
"What? He wants me to do what? And Vashti, queen of 127 provinces, he's had too much wine to drink. I will not be on display before a bunch of commoners."
The king became furious and burned with anger. Since it was customary for the king to consult experts in matter of law and justice, he spoke with the wise men who understood the times and were closest to the king. He called them in all to discuss the matter.
According to the law, what must be done to Queen Vashti? She has disobeyed my command.
When Memucan, one of the advisors, replied in the presence of the king and all the nobles,
What do you say?
Great king, Queen Vashti has done wrong. Not only against the king, but also against all the nobles and all the peoples of all the provinces of the king Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all the women, so they will despise their husbands and say, King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she would not come. This very day, the Persian and the Median women of the nobility who have heard about the queen's conduct will respond to all the king's nobles in the same way. There will be no end of disrespect and discord. Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree. Let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media which cannot be repealed, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else who is better than she. Then, when the king's edict is proclaimed throughout all his vast realm, all the women will respect their husbands, from the least to the greatest.
Now the king and his nobles...
And one more thing. When you're through with her, I'm looking for a wife. Maybe.
Now the king and his nobles were pleased with this advice. So the king did as Memucan proposed. He sent messengers to all parts of the kingdom, to each province and to each people in their own language, proclaiming in each people's tongue that every man should be ruler over his own household. And all the men said,
Amen.
Later, when the anger of King Xerxes had subsided, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what he had decreed about her.
I know. Let a search be made for beautiful young virgins. Brought to the king and let the king himself say,
My queen! My queen Vashti! Why? Why have you done this? Oh, why?
Don't worry. Appoint commissioners in all the provinces of your realm, and send them out to bring all the beautiful girls into the harem and to Hagar.
All virgins.
Yeah, of course, King. Nothing but the best, nothing but the best.
You will bring them all here.
And the one that pleases you.
better make sure that you bring the best.
I will. And the one that pleases you most, sire, she can be queen instead of that.
Now quickly go get them all. The best ones of all.
Now there was in the city of Susa a Jew of the tribe of Benjamin named Mordecai, the Jew, the son of Yair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, who had been carried into exile from Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Among those taken captive by Joachim, king of Judah, Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah, whom he had brought up because she had neither father nor mother. This girl, who was also known as Esther, was lovely in form and features, and Mordecai had taken her as his own daughter when her father and mother died. When the king's order and edict had been proclaimed, many girls were brought to the citadel of Susa, and under the care of Haggai, the eunuch who in charge of the harem.
I am Haggai, keeper of the women, of the young and beautiful virgins that will come before the king. You, young and beautiful ladies, come. Come. You will be safe under my care for your one night with the king.
Esther also was taken to the king's palace and entrusted to Haggai. Esther had not revealed her nationality and family background because Mordecai had forbidden her to do so. Before a girl's turn came to go to King Xerxes, she had to complete 12 months of beauty treatments prescribed for women, 6 months with oil and myrrh, and 6 with perfumes and cosmetics. And this is how she would go to the king. In the evening, she would go there, and in the morning return to another part of the harem. She would not return to the king unless he was pleased with her and summoned her by name. Now, the king was attracted to Esther more than any of the other women. Not so king. And she won his favor and approval more than any of the other virgins. King Xerxes said to her, officials, he proclaimed a holiday throughout the provinces and distributed gifts with royal liberality. Esther kept secret her family background and nationality, just as Mordecai had told her. Now Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, and during the time Mordecai was sitting there, Bigtana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, became angry and conspired to assassinate King Xerxes.
How are you, my brother? All right? Now, how do you face? I was guarding the king's goats outside of the palace, and he threw a stone into my face. What a fool! What a fool! Let us hang him! Hang him! Hang him! Hang him! Big China! Big China! Where's the Big China?
But Mordecai found out about the plot and told Queen Esther, who in turn reported it to the king, giving credit to Mordecai. And when the report was investigated and found to be true, the two officials were hanged on the gallows. All this was recorded in the book of the annals in the presence of the king. After these events, it's supposed to be dead. King Xerxes honored Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, elevating him and giving him the seat of But Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor.
My God, I will bow only to the God of Israel, not to this sleazy, whatever his name is.
Then the royal officials at the king's gate asked Mordecai,
Why do you not bow down?
Yes, why do you not obey the king's decree?
Are you don't know the God of Israel? Why do you bow down to a man? He's just a sleazy, short little man. He doesn't know nothing. What does he know? What's the man? There is a God of Israel. For him only to bow, and I suggest to you to do the same.
therefore they told Haman about it to see whether Mordecai's behavior would be tolerated. For he had told them he was a Jew.
A Jew?
When Haman saw that Mordecai would not bow down or pay him any honor, he was enraged. Yet having learned who Mordecai's people were, he scorned the idea of killing only Mordecai. Instead, Haman looked for a way to destroy all Mordecai's people, the Jews, throughout the whole kingdom of Xerxes. Haman devised the most wicked plot, saying to himself,
These Jews, they think they are so special. They think they are so special. But I will find a way to kill not only Mordecai, but all of the Jews.
in the 12th year of King Xerxes, in the first month, the month of Nisan, they cast the Purim, that is, the lot, in the presence of Haman, to select a day and month, and the lot fell on the 12th month in the month of Adar. Then Haman said to King Xerxes,
Xerxes, my king,
Yes, yes, Haman.
there is a group of people within your empire.
What kind of group?
They are not following the customs of everybody, and they are not obeying the rule of the king. This is not to your advantage. I suggest
What do you suggest?
that you put out a decree
A
to
decree.
finish
To
these
finish.
people. And I will put
For the
10,000...
Jewish people.
Yes.
You want to finish with the Jewish people?
Yes.
Ah.
And I will put 10,000 talents of silver
Yes.
to the royal treasury for the men who do this business, my king.
Haman, keep the money for yourself and do them as you please.
the royal secretaries were summoned. They wrote out all Haman's orders to all the governors of the various provinces and the various people. These were written in the name of King Xerxes himself and sealed with his own ring. Messengers were sent to all the king's provinces with the order to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, women and little children, on a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, and to plunder their goods. This became law and made known to all the people, so they would be ready for that day. When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city wailing loudly and bitterly.
My God! Oh my God, help us!
In every province to which the edict and order of the king came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, with fasting, weeping, and wailing. Many lay in sackcloth and ashes. When Esther's maids and eunuchs came and told her about Mordecai, she was in great distress. She sent clothes for him to put on instead of his sackcloth, but he would not accept them. Then Esther summoned Hatak, one of the king's eunuchs assigned to her, and ordered him to find out what was troubling Mordecai and why. So Hatak went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate.
Tell
Mother, what is it with you?
Mother, Balagan. Tell Esther what is happening. Tell Esther this decree. Show her the decree that what Haman, this short little guy there, have told them that we must be killed. So if she is pleased, and you must intervene in the kings and save us. Save us. Oh, man.
Hatak went back and reported to Esther what Mordecai had said. Then Esther instructed him to say to Mordecai,
Tell my uncle this is not possible. Don't you know the law? Whoever goes to the king without being invited kills. There's only one law. You go in, he doesn't invite you, he kills you. I cannot, that's not possible.
when Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back this
Let me tell
answer.
you this. Tell Esther that if she think that now she's in the palace and she will be safe, know that she is maybe there for an hour like this and she will not be safe. I cannot enter to the court, but tell her that no one will be saved, none Jew will be saved, and not even her family will be spared. Go there, my good man, and tell Esther.
Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai, saying,
30 days I wasn't invited. Okay, go to Mordecai and tell him that he should call all the Jews together and should fast 3 days and 3 nights. And then I will go to the king, and even though it's against the law, it might kill me, but okay, if I perish, I perish.
So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall facing the entrance when he saw Queen Esther standing in the court. He was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter.
My dear, my darling, my love. Half the kingdom is yours. Whatever you want. You know my heart for you. Ask and you shall receive. What is this that you really like to ask for? So half the kingdom.
If it pleases you, please invite Haman and come yourself for a really great celebration at Purim.
Quickly, invite Haman and put on a great celebration. It's down to you, my dear. Yes? Bring Haman at once.
So the king and Haman went to the banquet Esther had prepared.
Woohoo!
As they were drinking wine, the king again asked Esther,
Now, what is your petition? It will be given you. And what is your request, even up to half of the kingdom?
So much, my dear. If it really pleases you, would you do me the great pleasure to come again tomorrow for a party that I completely will organize for you and Haman?
What answer? Yes.
Haman went out that day, happy and in high spirits. But when he saw Mordecai at the king's gate and observed that he neither rose nor showed fear in his presence, he was filled with rage against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, calling together his friends and Zeresh, his wife. And Haman boasted,
Look at all my riches. Look at my beautiful wife. Look at all my sons, especially this one. He has beautiful teeth. He hears very well. Even more than that, Queen Esther has invited me to the banquet she's throwing. But this gives me no satisfaction. When this Jew Mordecai is sitting in the king's gate.
Have gallows built 75 feet high. Ask the king to hang around it. Invite to the dinner with the king and be happy.
this suggestion delighted Haman, and he had the gallows built. But that night, the king could not sleep. So he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be brought in and read to him. It was found recorded there that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, who had conspired to assassinate King Xerxes.
What honor was given that man?
Nothing had been done for him.
What honor was given to Mordecai for all the things which he had revealed to us?
Nothing, like I said, sire.
Who is at the court?
Now Haman had just entered
Who is in the
out
court?
of the palace to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai on the gallows he had erected for him.
A man is in the court, Majesty, yes.
Have him come in right here. Have Haman come right next to me. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
You okay? What do you think should be done to the men that the king really want to honor?
Now Haman saw to himself.
Who would the king delight to honor? It's probably what do you think you have to say, man? I think it is yes, my king.
Yes, what would you like?
I think to the man that the king delights to honor,
Yes.
we brought a robe that was worn by the king, and a
Yes.
horse
Yes.
that the king has ridden.
Yes.
And that man shall be led by a prince, proclaiming before him,
Uh-huh.
this is what should be done to the man the king delights to honor.
Well, good, very good. In fact, excellent. You go and do exactly as you have said to Mordechai. And don't let any of your words not be done. You do it precisely as you said to Mordechai. Yes, yes, Haman. That's the man that the king delights to honor.
So Haman got the robe and the horse. He rode for Mordecai and led him on horseback through the city streets, proclaiming before him. Afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman rushed home with his head covered in grief and told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had happened to him. His advisors, Zeresh, said to him,
Since Mordecai, before whom the downfall has started, is of a Jewish origin, there's no point in fighting against him.
while they were still talking, within the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to bed with Esther had prepared. So the king and Haman went to dine with Queen Esther, and as they were drinking wine on the second day, the king asked his beautiful queen, yet again,
My king, I'm really unstable for you, and it pleases your majesty. Grant me my life. This is my position. And spare my people, please spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold for destruction, for slaughter, for murdering, for annihilation. If there was only decided to make us slaves, I wouldn't bother you with a little problem like that. I wouldn't disturb you. But it's about killing us. I plead our life.
Who is that man that really planning to do such a thing to you and to your people? Who is that man? Yes.
The man that sits at my table, Haman, this vicious man, Haman.
Then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king got up in a rage, left his wine, and went out into the palace garden. But Haman realized that
The king got up in a rage.
Get that man!
and Haman realized that the king had already decided
me, sire, if I might.
My mercy!
Excuse me, sire. I've got a very nice idea. You see over yonder, there's a very tall gallows.
Ah, yes!
Yes, 75 feet high, 75 feet high.
Then the king's fury subsided. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, and Mordecai came into the presence of the king. For Esther had told how he was related to her, and Esther appointed him over Haman's estate. Esther again pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping. She begged him to put an end to the evil plan of Haman the Agagite, which he had devised against the Jews. Then the king extended the gold scepter to Esther, and she arose and stood before him and said,
It pleases the king,
Anything.
and if you regard me with your favor, and if you think it's the right thing to do, and if he's pleased with me,
Yes.
I sure hope you are.
You know I am.
Then already written overruling
Overruling.
the law, because I
Yes.
know you cannot cancel a law.
Just do what you want and let me see it with my ring.
Yeah, so the law that is written to destroy the whole people of my people, the Jewish people, write another law that we can defend ourselves, that we can at least fight against it. Because how could I bear disaster like this, to lose all my family, my own people?
No, not a thing will happen. We will take care of your people and write a decree and let's sign it.
So the king said, because Haman attacked the Jews, I have given him sentence and they have hanged him on the gallows. Now write another decree in the king's name in behalf of the Jews as seems best to you, and seal it with the king's signet ring, for no document written in the king's name and sealed with his ring can be revoked.
that the Almighty God will do to Iran of today, to all the Ayatollahs of today, to Khomeini, and all the that is taking place in Iran today, the same thing that he has done way back then. And all the people of God say, Amen. From the Hamas to Hezbollah, and to the Fatah, and to the Iran, and to all who are the enemies of Israel, the very same thing. And everybody say, Amen.